There were two prayers going on at the beginning of lunch. One was our lovely Cree woman, and the other person was me praying that this goes well. So, wish me luck. I'm really honored here today to be standing in front of you to tell you the true story, the real story of the Peeple app. And thank you for listening. So imagine last year I thought I had it all. I had a brand new tech startup. It was worth a couple $1 million. It was an app concept, and I get to build it with my best friend. I raised a bunch of money. I moved to California, and then I was thrown into the wildest ride of my life.
Morning, Ainsley. In today's world, you can rate and review everything from restaurants to hotels and movies, and now you can even review people. That's right, and that's what it's called, Peeple with a double E.
Themselves for people. What? P-E-P-L-E. There's now an app where people can rate you as a person.
Well, as you heard, it's called, allows users to give 1 to 5 stars to anybody they know.
The two women behind the app have been close friends for nearly 15 years.
Julia Cordray and her best friend Nicole McCullough created the app because they wanted a way to research strangers. This week, critics slammed the app online for encouraging cyberbullying. All the negative attention even caused the app's website to crash yesterday.
I'm sorry. Have you ever been on the internet?
Just read about what a terrible, horrible, civilization-ending idea this was.
People flood the company's social media accounts with negative comments.
Of the service, she adds all the bad words to the
What do you think? But let's start at the beginning.
It's a good idea.
April of 2014, my best friend and co-founder, Nicole McCullough, called me up and she said, hey, I have an idea. And she'd been trying to get a hold of me for a month. And Nicole is great because she has all these really great ideas, but never does anything with them. So I finally took her call and she said, you know, I've got 2 kids. I live in a transient townhouse complex in Southern California. I don't know if I can trust my neighbors. I don't know if I can trust my childcare workers, the teachers, you know, other parents. I'm nervous. I'm nervous to have people around my children. How can I look people up to find out who they really are? And I said, you know, that's a really big problem to solve. And then she said, you know, and what about the Starbucks barista down the street who's doing a really good job at her job? And what if I could give her props to build her up so maybe she could get a better job? And I said, you know, I think there should be an app for that. And born was the Yelp for People. So it started with a pitch deck, and this was very important to raising money. That is truly our very first shareholder, Dara Pena. She's here in the audience today. Yes, we are in our pajamas. We do not do business normally like this, but we literally solidified the deal at the table. And I hired a company to help me with my pitch deck, polish it, make sure I can raise money with it. I learned about share subscription agreements and securities laws and all the things I didn't even know I wanted to know about. So I set off and went on my adventure. And then, a year into it, I found a competitor. The first thing that happened was I threw up, and then I went for a walkabout. And I really had to calm myself down and focus on the fact that competition is good. We're not the only 2 crazy people on the planet that want to build the Yelp for People. And Karma is actually a company out of Australia. They said that they were going to be launching in June of 2015. And what was really concerning for me is we had kept our concept completely under the radar. Everyone was signing NDAs. Only the investors knew about the concept. So this was very, very nerve-wracking for me to find this competitor and find out they're about to launch a month later. They never did launch, and I'm not sure if they will, but they still keep me on my toes. So as you can imagine, a competitor put a huge fire under my ass, and I was like, I gotta raise a bunch of money, like right now, like right before they launch. So at the end of June, I managed to raise $240,000 at 19 cents a share. And then I moved the share price up as soon as we had enough money to build the app. And I raised $140,000 at the end of July at 36 cents a share. So this was very, very exciting. Our company and our concept was growing. And the guy in the picture, his name is Don Gable. I believe in asking for help when you need it. And Don actually helped me raise about $100,000 of that by introducing me to people in his network who wanted to invest in tech. And then I got to move to California. Everybody's dream, right? I'm like, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna move to San Francisco. I'm gonna get plugged into tech. I'm gonna make a lot of tech friends. I'm gonna raise some more money with VCs. And then we found out it was $4,500 US a month for a 1-bedroom. And then we did the conversion and I'm like, uh-oh, I might need some more money. But we went anyway. I moved to California from August until October. And we moved to California because we wanted to hire Y Media Labs. Y Media Labs is an international app developer, and what they're really good at, what they're famous for, is making world-class user experiences. So all that is when you open up an app and it feels really intuitive and really easy to use, this is the company that can do it. So we picked our app developer. They're in Redwood City, which is near Silicon Valley. We had our weekly app meetings, and we start building Peeple, the Yelp for people. But along this journey, I realized, everybody seems to glamorize building of an app. Oh, they think it's really sexy and exciting, and you're gonna go out and build an app, and that's great. But I couldn't find enough information about what it's like to really build an app. Are there videos? Are there coaches? Are there resources online? And so I decided to change that, and I hired a videographer to follow my co-founder and I around for 90 days while we lived in California to document the building of the app. We wanted to have webisodes where people can learn what it's like to really build an app. And those are very valuable to us today, and hopefully to people that want to build an app. There's 12 webisodes on YouTube now, and a full-length documentary coming out. And then I raised more money. So I came back to Canada for a week. I wanted to expose the concept to more of my network, and so I threw a little party, and that turned out well. And then I was thrown into a Canadian media storm. So what was so ironic is I had contacted all the Canadian media before I showed up in Canada, and I wanted to make sure that they were the first in the world to hear about the concept. And no one cared. Nobody called me back. And I was very bewildered by that.